Let's go back and let's read habitat. Ready? Let's make like a house for habitat. Ready, everybody? So far, we're going to read our topic sentence that we've created so far. Habitats. Ooh, you know what? I said habitats. What do I need at the end of my word? An S. Put an S. Ready, everyone? Habitats. So now we've written habitats. Now I want to show you the visual cue. Boys and girls, what did we say? We said the subject. What about the subject? The subject is habitats. There's our subject now. So now I have my visual cue for them to see what the second S is for, the subject, and now they see it here. So now I have habitats. Let's now go to step 3. Big idea. What's all the information we learned about habitats? Now I have all the kids talk to each other. We've been discussing all this information in our science. We've been learning about all the different animals and how they're going to live in habitats and how they need it for food and shelter. So the children are talking to each other, and now we're going to pick sticks. All right, now we have our big idea. What's the big idea that we learned about habitats? I pick a stick, a child is talking, and when they're talking, we don't have to have them say the sentence. We're only listening for the ideas. It's difficult to form a sentence and ideas at the same time. So the big idea we learned about habitats is that animals live there. Okay, so animals live there. So we'll just put a pretend animal because we know there's all different types of animals in our animal kingdom. So habitats are places where animals, okay, what about animals? What do they get from their habitat? Turn to your buddy and tell them. And then maybe we'll have somebody say food. So we'll put like a little tongue, getting food, and shelter. So maybe we'll make like a little house for shelter. So habitats are places where animals get their food and shelter. We have our big idea. So notice what we did. We put the ideas down, then we went back and we would read it. So let's read it now. Ready? Habitats are places where animals get their food and shelter. Let's say it again. Habitats are places where animals get their food and shelter. All right, we have our S light bulb, our subject and big idea. Let's go to step 4. Step 4, setting. When and where does this information take place? What's the time? What's the place? Notice next to that step it says optional because you don't always need a setting. If I was talking about molecules, I may not have a setting. If I was talking about Abraham Lincoln, I probably would need a time and a place. When you're writing a topic sentence for information, the setting is optional. It's only if it's needed, if you need this to understand the information. So I'm going to go back and say, when do animals have food and shelter in their habitats? Do they have it only every once in a while or every day? Ooh, every day. So let's put a circle with an arrow, meaning every day or all year round. Ooh, let's put all year round because we know it's happening all the time. They have their habitats. So let's do that again. Ready? All year long. Habitats give animals food and shelter. Ooh, that sounds good. Now, do we need a where are these habitats? Yes, they're all over the world. I just used the word all and all. Doesn't sound very good. We're going to practice it that way, and then we're going to do the redundant place. Here we go. All year long, all around the world. Uh-oh. Woo, woo, woo. Redundant please, redundant please. I keep saying all. Let's have another way to start our when or where. So I could say every day, all around the world, habitats provide animals with food and shelter. I just want to caution you, when we did the big idea, we could have said, who cares, why is this important? Like, why is it so important that animals get food and shelter so they can survive? In this case, I'm not giving the why is that so important. We're just going to keep it at this level because I also, in the example in this booklet, have a more high-level topic sentence also. This is pretty high level as it is, and this is fine for you. You could put a to survive if you want. And you could even just verbally add that for your higher kids, just so that you know that you can differentiate like that. We have our subject, habitats. We also had our big idea. What was the big idea? Habitats provide animals with food and shelter. And then we went and said every day or all year long in different parts of the world. We have our setting as well. So now we have our setting, we have our subject, and then we also have our big idea. Now I want to show you these cards because what I do is I put a magnet on the back, and I can also put these up on the board as we're filling them out on our paper. So children have a big picture of this, as well as with the visuals of what each part of the secret formula represents. I'm writing this up on my paper as they're writing it on theirs. So now we have every day, all around the world, habitats give animals their food and shelter. I want to stop for a minute because a habitat, is it like a person giving something, or is it just providing? What would be a better, more precise word that we would want to use? Give, like does it actually walk over and give it to it, or is it just something that provides that? What would be more precise? Ooh, provide. Let's write provide there then. Habitats provide animals with their food and shelter. That sounds great. Okay, now let's go to step 5. And once we know our sentences sound good and our children can say the whole sentence, we are going to add fancy words. Let's go and see, are there any nouns? Are there any important parts of the sentence that need to be described? Let's see. Every day, all around the world, habitats provide animals with food and shelter. Let's look at habitats would be a great word to add a fancy word to, or animals. How about we go every day, all around the world, habitats. Let's put an X on our animal. Now let's add a fancy word for animals. What kind of animals do habitats provide food and shelter for? So are they all the same animals or all the different kinds of animals? Let's put different here. Yes, that would make much more sense because we know every day, all around the world, habitats provide different animals with food and shelter so they can survive, or just food and shelter. Remember, you can differentiate if you want. We have our fancy words. We have all of our information. Let's do our last thing, add punctuation. So the kids can get out a red crayon, pencil. You have your red marker, and now we're going to go back and we're going to add, we're going to start at the beginning of the sentence. Every day. What do we need to do with the word every day? We need to capitalize the beginning. Now, let's write it down really quickly. E-V, E-R, Y, D-A-Y. Every day, all around the world. Okay, after that, we need a comma. Habitats provide different animals with their food and shelter. I'm finished with my sentence and I have my period. What we do is we have the children orally rehearse this over and over again. And when they can say it, what do we tell them to do? Write it down, write it down, write it down. What if I have some children who have difficulty writing down the words still? Then I may take my pencil and do a dictation or write many of the words and have them finish up the last part. What if I have second language learners who have a difficult time including the setting before they even get to the subject? Then omit that part and have the students just say, habitats give animals their food and shelter. You can differentiate this from a very simple to a very complex sentence with the same group through that oral language rehearsal once you're finished. Once they can say it again, they're going to write it down. You go back and see if you can follow these steps to write a topic sentence. Think about a science or social studies unit of study or section of a unit of study that you've studied. Now go back and see if you can follow these steps to take that information and form a topic sentence. Good luck, and I hope that you enjoy it.